We're very privileged to have in this round as well to bring us a speech the Secretary General of the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, Badia, one of the 100 most influential women of African descent. Help me welcome Dr. Fatima El Sheikh to bring us a message. It's a long walk, please.
Excellencies, distinguished officials, leaders of the private sector, fellow sisters, African women, and the youth in the room, all protocol observed. I'm not going to go through the official protocols, not to miss anyone. It is a great honor for the Arab Bank for Economic Development in Africa, known for abbreviation BADIA, to participate in the Africa Prosperity Dialogue for this year, an important platform that brings together vision, policy, and action in service of Africa for a shared economic future that we own rather than we are positioned in. The theme of this dialogue, empowering SMEs, women, and youth in Africa in a single market, innovate, collaborate, trade, speaks directly to the engine of Africa economic growth and transformation. Small and medium-sized enterprises are the backbone of Africa economies. Women and youth are not the only, the majority of the continent population, but they are the continent's greatest asset for as a source of creativity, resilience, and ambition. Yet, despite their proven potential, many of the SMEs in the continent, particularly those led by women and young entrepreneurs, comes to face a real challenge. The structural barriers, including limited access to finance, restricted market access, gaps in skill, and weak integration into regional and continental value chains. The African Continental Free Trade Area, for which Ghana is the home, and Badia is a genuine and committed partner to see the reality, provides a historic opportunity to change the reality of Africa by creating a single market of over 1.4 billion people. The agreement provides an unlocked scale for stimulation of innovation and to enable African enterprises to compete. First within Africa, and then hopefully globally, and hopefully globally even before within the continent. It is an unmatched opportunity, but it requires a bold policy statement from all the African countries. Most importantly, we need to make sure that the people are at the center of the agreement itself. Allow me at this to reiterate that Badia remains to be committed and clear in enduring the agreement. For decades, we've partnered with African countries and African agencies and African banks and IFIs and fellow MDPs on technical assistance, capacity building, and financing of development in the continent. Today, we are deepening our focus on small and medium enterprises and private sector-led growth. In fact, our partnership in Ghana is actually marked under the 24-hour economy initiative, working through IFIs and local banks towards cascading and pushing through finance towards the SMEs, and particularly with a special focus on youth and women-led businesses. We believe that innovation must be encouraged not only in technology, but also in different business models and in different financing instruments. We believe in multiplying our $1 that comes out from Badia through working in partnership with private sector and banks, between governments and private sector, between Africa and development partners. And we believe that trade must be made accessible by reducing the trade barriers and improving logistics. Empowering women and youth is not only a social objective alone, it is an economic imperative. When women-led enterprises thrive, community prosper. When women entrepreneurs succeed, hope is converted into an opportunity, and an opportunity for a lasting growth. Allow me to use this platform to reiterate a call that I made personally on the panel on day one about women empowerment. I think we have been in the journey of I would say African women equity and particularly global women equity for the last 25 years. And I would say that one of the issues that we face is that we are always provided with lip services as women. So I'll use the advantage of the fact that I sit in one of the boardrooms in one of the development bank to do a special call for one of the African countries to own an initiative that I think will bring transformation and change. We have here in this room some of the most bold African women entrepreneurs. However, I would like to urge at least one of the African countries to provide and demonstrate a decisive leadership by introducing a serious, measurable, and a time-bound tax incentive. A tax incentive that targets women-led businesses. And with all respect to male-dominated business environment, I think this is a well-due call. I think when we have a tax incentive that talks about not SMEs only, but talks about serious women entrepreneurs that are trying to break even in the African sphere. This is how we show as a continent that there is a global leadership for women economic parity. When a country is deliberately rewarding women who build businesses, create jobs, and trade across the border, it does more than advance inclusion. It reshapes its economic trajectory. Women-owned enterprises reinvest disproportionately in families, and we all recognize this, and in communities, and in productivity. Supporting them is not a concession, it is a strategic economic shift and a choice that has to be made. And I am pleased that it's not only Ghana, the home of the dialogue, but there are many policy makers here, and we have also the African Union represented. So it's a call for a country to be a champion for a tax incentive for women-led businesses. I would reiterate this, and I hope it will be something that I realize at the end of the journey. I am almost done with my speech, but I wanted to reiterate my call since I have policymakers from critical countries that present a strong economic power. But I also have a first lady in the room, and I think she was there when I launched the call 2 days ago. I think this is a clear commitment for African women leadership and dedication, and thank you so much for staying with us for 3 days of the dialogue. I'm proud as a fellow African woman to have you in the room, but through you and through the Chief of Staff and the policymakers in Ghana and His Excellency the Vice President, allow me to call for a tax incentive for women-led businesses. I think if we are able to show a demonstrative effect, it doesn't matter if it's 1%, if it's less than 0.5%, if it's 2%. If we're giving it to the foreign investor, let's make sure that we give it to African women so that they are able to be at the front seat. Let's give it to our ladies, and I think we have you in the room, and I would want to see that. I think I spent 25 years as a woman champion. I don't want to be acknowledged by the world as one of the most influential African descent women. I'd rather have something that I leave behind for the next generation to come. And I thank you, and I leave it in your safe hand.